Have you ever felt like you are drowning in a vast ocean of uninvited opinions? The world never stops screaming, demanding every ounce of your attention. We are surrounded by digital echoes and relentless notifications. This is not a typical motivational video for your social media feed. It is something much deeper. This is a surgical dissection of silence. We are here to forge an armor of virtue, not to escape reality, but to master it from within. To survive the modern age, you must learn to build a sanctuary inside your own mind, where the noise of the world cannot reach your soul. Look at the ancients. They understood that the greatest empire is the one you build within. Today, we reclaim the lost art of strategic solitude and silence. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the known world, found his true power not in his legions, but in the quiet moments of his own reflection. Chaos is the natural state of the external world. It strikes without warning, seeking to shatter your composure and pull you into its violent rhythm. Most people are like leaves in the wind, tossed around by every insult, every headline, and every setback that life throws their way at random. But there is a different path. A path where you become the mountain, unmoved by the storm. This is the path of the strategic silent warrior. Listen to the silence. It is not empty, it is full of answers. It is the canvas upon which you will paint your new, unshakable reality. Prepare yourself. We are going to deconstruct the science and the philosophy of stillness to give you the ultimate edge in a world of noise. Silence is not just a philosophical choice, it is a biological necessity. Modern science reveals how our brains react to the constant bombardment of stress. When you are stressed, your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, takes over. It floods your system with chemicals that cloud your judgment and trigger fear. Cortisol, the stress hormone, is the enemy of strategy. It locks you into a state of fight or flight, making long-term thinking almost impossible to achieve. When you react instantly to every provocation, you are not in control. You are merely a biological machine responding to external stimuli like a puppet. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela. He was confined to a tiny cold cell for 27 years, stripped of his freedom and his basic rights. He did not survive through hatred or loud protest. He survived by transforming that small space into a vast internal empire of the human spirit. His silence was his strength. By refusing to let his captors break his mind, he remained freer than the men who held the keys to his cell. Neuroscience shows that intentional silence actually rewires the brain. It shrinks the amygdala and strengthens the prefrontal cortex, the center of logic and reason. When you choose silence, you are literally changing your biology. You are training your brain to remain calm in the face of any external threat. This is how you regain your strategic edge. By calming the biological storm, you clear the fog and see the world for what it truly is. You are not just resting, you are rebuilding. Every minute of silence is a brick in the wall of your impenetrable inner citadel of peace. The universe outside may be chaotic, but the universe inside you can be perfectly ordered. Silence is the tool you use to arrange it. This is the secret of the masters. They don't seek to control the world, they control their response to it. That is the only true power. Now let us travel back to the frontier of the Roman Empire. Amidst the mud, the blood, and the constant threat of Germanic invasions. Here, Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, faced more pressure than any modern CEO or politician could ever imagine in their wildest nightmares. Outside, the screams of war echoed. Inside, Aurelius sat in near total silence, writing his private thoughts, which we now know as meditations. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." He understood that his environment did not have to dictate his state of mind. Why do you allow the world to invade your sanctuary? Why do you give strangers the power to disturb your peace with a single comment? Aurelius taught us that the most peaceful place you can retreat to is within yourself. It is a fortress that no army can ever conquer. Strategic solitude is not the loneliness of the weak. It is the calculated withdrawal of a king who needs no throne to prove his worth. When you step back from the world, you gain a perspective that others lack. You see the patterns, the cycles, and the inevitable flow of fate. Keep your inner light burning steadily. The winds of circumstance will blow, but they cannot extinguish a flame that is guarded by discipline. Aurelius didn't have a quiet life, he created a quiet mind. That is the lesson we must apply to our own chaotic, modern existence. Your internal world is your only true possession. Everything else can be taken away in an instant, but your character is yours forever. The value of your life is determined by your internal state, not your bank account or your social status. Remember the power of the emperors. One thought can color your entire day. Choose your thoughts as carefully as a king chooses his advisors. Guard the gates of your mind. Silence is the guardian of the soul. In the dark, in the quiet, you find the strength to face the dawn and whatever it brings. Now imagine a room full of people mocking you. The air is thick with gossip, judgment, and the poisonous sting of public contempt. This was the world of Seneca. He lived in the heart of Nero's court, a place of extreme luxury and even more extreme danger. Seneca viewed scorn not as an injury but as a test. He believed that the wise man is like a deep sea, unaffected by surface waves. When you react to an insult, you give the offender power over you. You become their slave, dancing to the rhythm of their hatred. Silence is your ultimate weapon. It is a shield that reflects the negativity back to its source, leaving you untouched and your dignity fully intact. He taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the things we fear are just shadows projected by our own minds. By choosing not to respond to petty attacks, you conserve your energy for things that actually matter. You maintain your strategic, rational focus. Let their words be like the wind in the trees heard but not felt. Your silence is a statement of your unshakable self-worth and inner power. In negotiations or conflicts, the one who speaks less often controls the room. Silence creates a void that others feel compelled to fill with mistakes. It is the transition from raw, primitive emotion to cold, calculated reason. This is the mark of a person who truly knows themselves. Your values are your compass. If you stay true to them, the opinions of those who don't matter will lose their ability to hurt you. Be the wolf, not the sheep. The sheep needs the approval of the flock. The wolf is comfortable in the silence of the hunt. Every time you hold your tongue in the face of anger, you are tempering your character. You are becoming harder, stronger, and more resilient. Absorb the impact without letting it reach your core. Your mind is the ultimate absorber of life's many shocks and unwanted disturbances. Time reveals all things. While others waste their breath in heated arguments, you wait in the silence, letting the truth emerge on its own. Strength is often born in the darkest of places. Look at Epictetus, born a slave, whose body was broken but whose will remained perfectly intact. He taught that we cannot control what happens to us, but we can always control how we interpret what happens. Freedom is an internal state. Even in the harshest conditions, the human spirit can flourish if it remains rooted in the soil of reason and the water of silence. Fast forward to the 20th century. Admiral James Stockdale, held as a prisoner of war in Vietnam for over 7 grueling and painful years. He survived torture by using Stoic principles. He accepted the brutal reality of his situation without ever losing hope in his ultimate triumph. He realized that the mind is the only thing the enemy cannot touch. His solitude became a laboratory for testing the limits of human endurance. And then there is Harriet Tubman, leading the terrified and the tired through the wilderness, where a single sound could mean certain death. Silence for her was not a choice, it was a survival strategy. It was the cloak that hid her and her people from the hunters. She understood the discipline of the shadows. Strategic solitude allowed her to hear the path that others were too panicked to ever find. These masters of survival knew that when the world is screaming, you must be the one who is listening. Information lives in the quiet. Every step taken in silence is a step taken with purpose. You are moving while others are just reacting. You are the architect of your fate, focus only on the next step. Silence the fear of the distance. The path will reveal itself to the one who walks with a quiet mind. True power is often silent before it acts. It doesn't need to roar to be felt. It simply waits for the right strategic moment to move. Your will is your own. No chain, no prison, and no insult can take it from you unless you choose to give it away yourself. The world will never stop being loud. The noise is a constant like the tide. But from this day forward, you have a choice. You have the right to not listen. You have the power to turn down the volume of the world and tune into your own frequency. Build your inner citadel. Use the bricks of discipline and the mortar of silence. Make it a place where only the truth is allowed. Don't just listen to these words, let them sink into your bones. Change your biology. Change your destiny through the power of your own will. Your internal empire begins the moment you decide to stay silent in the face of chaos. It begins when you choose strategy over reaction. Are you ready to be alone? Are you ready to find the power that only comes from true solitude and the mastery of your own soul? The throne is waiting for you. It is not made of gold, it is made of stillness. Step into your empire and rule your world from within. The noise is gone, the silence is yours. Now go out and master the world without saying a single, unnecessary word to anyone.